today's class, I planned what I call it the basics, because as you likely know, there are a few muscle groups that MS tends to attack the most, that being the hip flexors, the knee flexors, and the ankle dorsiflexors. So what we're going to do today is a class more towards strengthening those areas, in addition to a little bit of our core. The stronger our core is, the better posture we can have, the easier mobility will be. Just so many things are better and less uncomfortable, less painful when our core is strong. So it's going to be a mix of those things. Do make sure you have water nearby. Especially if you have heat intolerance, when you exercise, it increases your core temperature. So that means that your heat intolerant symptoms can worsen because your core temperature is rising from the exercise. So the way that I like to start all of my classes is with a little bit of cardio. We know from research that doing cardio exercise before our MS specific neuroplasticity based exercises will actually prime our brain for neuroplasticity. So by doing cardio first, your brain is even more likely to strengthen and find new neural pathways. So what we're all going to do is sit up nice and tall, lower your shoulders down away from your ears, and you should be in the middle or edge of your chair. Tighten your abdominal area. Hands are going to be in very light fists, and we're just going to pump our arms. So I call this one the arm swings. And by the way, for anyone watching, if you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Gretchen Hawley. I'm a physical therapist and an MS certified specialist. I actually am in Buffalo, New York, but with my online program and resources, I have clients all over the US and all over the world. So I'm excited to be teaching for you today. Keep going fast with cardio. You want to either go faster than what feels normal for you, or more motion than what feels normal for you, or more power. So really punch up. So quicker, more motion, or more power. There's no right or wrong, but that's how you get your heart rate up. We're going to end with 5 faster seconds. So I'm going to count down from 3, 2, 1. And when I say go, we're going to go as fast as we can for 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down. Stop, shake everything out. And when you're ready, we're going to move on to our next one. So that's our forward punches. So again, hands are just in very light fists. You're not squeezing, just very light fists, and punch forward. Again, remember to keep your abdominal muscles nice and taut, but punch forward, ideally at shoulder height. But if that bothers your shoulders for any reason, or if it's too challenging, you can always just punch down towards your knees. And again, to make this cardio go a little faster than what's normal, or power. Really push, 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 as if you're punching a punching bag. So again, faster or more power. Keep going. One trick of the trade, if you ever don't feel your heart rate increasing with these exercises, is to talk out loud. Even just counting the numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just by talking and moving, that's harder for your body to do, so it will increase the cardiovascular requirement. We're going to do 5 faster seconds in 3, 2, 1, and go fast. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down and stop and shake out. We've got one final cardio move today, and that is going to be our reach and pull. Reach and pull. This works so many muscles all at once. When you're reaching, you'll feel a stretch here. It uses your ab muscles, so it's a good warm up for us today. Uses your shoulders. If you have any pain or discomfort with reaching this high, reach a little lower, maybe from the top of your head, or from your forehead, or your chin. Doesn't really matter, but up and pull. Keep going. reach, pull, reach, pull. Again, try to keep up a decent speed. When we're doing cardio, it's not so much about form, but it's more about getting your heart rate up. Do what you got to do to increase that heart rate. Keep breathing. We're going to end with 5 faster seconds. And just to warn you, when we go faster here, it's less range of motion. So it looks more like this rather than reaching high, high, high. In 3, 2, 1, and go fast for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow it down and stop and shake out. All right, that was our cardio for the day. Go ahead and take a sip of water. And again, if you are someone who has heat intolerance, ice cold water is what you should be reaching for instead of just room temperature water. Okay. First exercise of the day is going to be our core. So we're going to start with our core, then go down to our hips, knees, and ankles. Okay, so first is our core. I'm going to show you guys from this side. We're going to be towards the edge of our chair, sitting up nice and tall. I don't want anyone arching like this. Just have a flat back. From here, you can either have your hands resting on your thighs or forward or across over your chest. This is the hardest variation. This is the easiest, and this is somewhere in the middle. I always like to start with the middle option and see how I'm feeling that day, and then make it easier or harder if necessary. Once you got your arms in the position you want them in, you keep a flat back the whole time as you hinge backwards as far as you can go, and then pull yourself back up. So that was a practice one. We're going to do 10 of these. So slowly hinge, hold, and up. This is actually a really good day for me. There are some days where I do this exercise and I cannot go back this far. And up. Back, hold. Make sure you're focusing on squeezing your belly muscles. These are the muscles that should be working the most. You might feel a little bit of your hip flexors, but they should not be working more than your abdominals. Back. If they are, if you mostly feel this here, don't go back as far. We're halfway, we've got 5 more. Back and hold, and up. Back and hold, and up. Back, hold. This should not be uncomfortable for your low back at all. If it is, don't go back as far. Hold, and up. 1 more, back and hold. Make sure you keep breathing. And up. Let yourself slouch, relax those muscles. Next one is our marching. So before we actually do that exercise, I just want to demonstrate for you what's required for better walking, whether it's walking further distances, walking faster, walking with better balance or better quality. And 3 of the exercises we're doing today focus on that. So you need to be able to bend your knee, lift your toes, and march your knee like this. There's other things, but those are 3 of the main things. So the leg exercises we're doing are going to be to bend our knee, lift our toes, and bend our hip. So even though we're doing them seated, it's the same thing that will help you with walking-based movements, stair climbing, all that good stuff. So we're going to start at the hip. You can sit up nice and tall. This is the harder version, or you can recline backwards. Either way, keep your abdominal muscles nice and tight. And what we're going to do is slowly lift as high as you can, and then lower, and the same thing on the other side. We're going to do 10 of these. I'm going to start with sitting up tall and hold on to your chair, shoulders down away from your ears, tighten your belly, and lift and down. Slow and controlled, nothing too fast. And just lift as high as you can. You should mostly feel this in your hip flexors, in that crease. And down. It's normal when you have MS to have one side that doesn't lift as high as the other. That's okay. Even if one side is barely lifting at all, still do this exercise. That's the power of neuroplasticity, is that high repetitions of a movement regardless of how much movement you actually have, is still working your brain. Your brain is still trying to find the neural pathway. We're halfway, 5 more. And you'll notice that I am not moving my upper body a ton. I'm slightly hinging back just a little bit to make it easier, but I'm not swaying all the way back here or tipping to one side or the other. So listen to your body. And if this is too challenging, that's when you'd want to do this variation. You'll be able to lift higher. Up, down, up, down. We've got one more each side. Up, down, last one, up and down, and relax. Let yourself slouch. It's really important that you let your muscles relax after each one of these, because you don't want your muscles being tight for a full 30 minutes or however long this class ends up being. So you want to relax everything after we use it. Next one, scoot further back in your chair, and you still have a flat back. What we're going to do is straighten our knee, hold, and then bend your knee as far as you can go. Pull, 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 and relax. So when you're straightening your knee, we're working our quad muscles. And when you're bending your knee, you're working your hamstring muscles. If you did those with me, those are practice ones. We'll do 10 each side. Sit up tall, slowly straighten, squeeze the knee, and then slowly bend and pull back. And relax. Other side, straighten, little hold, and back, pull, 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 and relax. So the cool thing about this exercise is you can go as far as you can, but pulling back, it doesn't matter what chair you're sitting in. I do have space under my chair, so my heel will go a little bit further back than if I was on a couch. But if you're on a couch or a chair that doesn't have an opening, just push into the couch. It's the same exercise, and you should feel this in the hamstrings on the back of your thigh. And pull back and relax. Straighten and pull, 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 and relax. So this is kind of a slow one, but it's really important. There's almost every movement that we desire in the standing position requires bending and straightening our knee to some extent. Even seated, if we wanted to scoot forward, we need to be able to bend and straighten our knee. To get into and out of a car, we gotta be able to bend and straighten our knee. We've got 4 more. Pull, 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 pull. Relax. Straighten. Also, I should mention, I am only 5 feet 2 inches tall. So you might see my heels are not touching the floor when I'm fully sitting back in this chair. That makes it easier for me. If you're taller than me or you have a lower chair, it's more challenging the more surface area you have touching the floor because there's more friction. So the trick is get a higher chair, scoot further back in your chair, or put something slippery under your foot. If you have a magazine or a sock or something to make it more slippery, that will work too. 1 more, straighten and bend, pull, 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 and relax. And relax everything, shake everything out. The last one in this sequence is our ankle dorsiflexion. So if you have foot drop, this is going to be one of the best ones for you. We're all going to scoot towards the middle or edge of our chair and then move your feet further away from you. So your knees are a little bit straighter. From here, we're going to lift both of our 4 feet up. So the heels stay down, but we're going to lift our toes and forefoot up and then slowly down. Really slow in the up and the down. We're going to do this 10 times. Sit up tall. Shoulders down, hold on to the chair, and go ahead and lift, pause, and lower. Lift, slowly, pause, and lower. And again, it's normal to have one side that doesn't lift as high as the other. That's okay. If it's easier for you to do this exercise, good, lift on one side and then the other, you can absolutely do it that way. I like to initially teach both feet at the same time at first, because sometimes that can help the weaker side. We're halfway, we've got 5 more. Lift and down. Lift and lower. Lift, lower, slowly up. One more, slowly up, hold, 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 and lower, and relax, shake everything out. So that is the sequence. We're going to do that sequence one more time. I am going to show a standing variation for each of the exercises. Well, sorry, not each of them, for 2 of them. If you want to do the standing option, standing is not better than the seated one, it's just a different position. Sometimes it makes it easier, other times it makes it harder. So we're going back to our initial core exercise. This one doesn't change at all, it stays the same. So we're still sitting in the middle or edge of our chair, up nice and tall, shoulders down away from your ears, and tighten your belly muscles. From here, you're going to either have your hands on your lap, forward, or here. If the first round was too easy, do it this way. If the first round was too hard, do it this way. If it was somewhere in the middle, do it here. I'll do this one since today's a good day for me. 10 of these. When you're ready, tighten your belly muscles again if you let them slouch, and slowly hinge back and up. Slowly back. Pause. And slowly up. Remember, we're trying to use our abs more than our hip flexors. Back, pause, and up. Back, pause. You're just going back as far as you can today. Up. Some days, like yesterday, I did this, and this is as far as I could go without feeling it too much in my hip flexors. Up. Back. And also without feeling like I was just going to lose it and drop my good posture. Up. We're halfway, we've got 5 more. Back, hold, up, back, hold, up, back, hold, up. 2 more. Back, hold, up. Last one, we're going to hold longer. I'm warning you now. Back and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly up. Hopefully you felt those ab muscles quivering a little bit. Shake everything out. So our next one, we're moving down our bodies, our hip flexors, so our marching. Just as a reminder, when we did this seated, you were either sitting at the edge of your chair like this, or you were reclined like this. But I'm going to show you a standing option in case you want to take that option. Move this up just slightly. For the standing option, you can hold on to the back of a chair or something sturdy. I'm just going to move it out of the way so you can see me. The standing option looks like this. Feet are shoulder distance apart. Knees are slightly bent. I don't want anyone's knees locking or hyperextending, so slightly bent. You're going to shift your weight to this side as you lift up this leg and down. Then you're going to shift your weight here. The only difference between standing and sitting is the weight shifting. If you leave 50% of your weight on both sides and you go to lift this leg, you're going to fall towards that side. So you have to remember to shift your weight off of it before you lift. Okay, so when you're ready, lift up a little bit more. There we go. When you're ready, we'll do 10 of these on each side. So go ahead and shift and lift and down. So just slow and steady, as high as you can lift it comfortably. Up, down. Regardless if you're sitting or standing, keep those ab muscles taut and tight the whole time. and down with control. Going slow makes it harder. I do that on purpose. Up, down, up. Keep your good posture. Your butt is underneath you. Your knees are slightly bent. Don't let them lock. Down, up, down. Keep going. We're halfway. We've got 5 more each side. Up, down, up. And even if both legs or one leg isn't lifting that high, that's okay. It's more about the effort than anything else. Up, down, keep going, down, up. Now, standing, it can be more challenging because it requires balancing. But in terms of the marching, some people find that standing marching is easier than the seated marching. 1 more on each side. Last one. And down and relax. Shake everything out. Next is our leg kick. So just as a reminder, when you were sitting, this is what it looked like. We were sitting in the middle or edge of our chair, up tall with our shoulders down, ab muscles nice and tight. And you're going, oh, sorry, we were sitting at the back of our chair. Back here, and you're slowly straightening, and then slowly bending and pull, pull, pull. So I'm going to show you the standing option. The difference is that when you're seated, you straighten first, and then you bend. But when we're standing, we bend first. So I'm standing here, and I'm not going to hit that. I think it should be okay. I'm going to bend first and then straighten slowly. And same thing here. You have to shift your body weight before you bend the knee and then straighten. And then you'd shift this way, bend and straighten. So that's the difference between seated and standing. If you're standing, again, make sure your knees are slightly bent the whole time. Don't let them lock or hyperextend backwards. All right, so choose your position. And when you're ready, we're going to do 10 each side. So if you're standing, go ahead and shift your weight first, and then bend and straighten and switch sides. Bend. And if you're seated, just when I say bend, you're going to straighten. It's the opposite. Bend and straighten. Now I will say, and I can already feel this happening on myself, these hamstring muscles tend to tighten and cramp really easily. So I'm not going to bend as much because I already feel them cramping a little. So listen to your body. Down. Bend the knee. Down. Straighten. Bend. Down. Regardless, make sure you're keeping good posture. Your shoulders are down away from your ears. And if you're standing, make sure it's a butt kick. You don't want your knee coming forward at all. You want your heel coming towards your butt, like this, not here. Bend. Down. We're halfway. We've got 5 more. Bend. Down. Bend. Down. Bend. Down. Bend. Down. Nice job. Keep your good posture. Shoulders down away from your ears. Keep breathing. Another trick for you guys, if you are someone who holds your breath when you exercise, talk out loud. It is impossible to hold your breath if you're talking out loud. And I mean out loud, like I would be able to hear you, not under your breath, but talking so someone else could hear you. Good, and stop there, shake everything out. We're all gonna go back down to our seated position if you were standing. And we're going to do our final exercise, which is for the foot drop for our ankles. Oh, so sitting up nice and tall, straighten your knees so your feet are further away from you. That just makes it easier. It's a whole lot easier to do this exercise here versus here. If you don't believe me, go ahead and try it yourself. It's all about the angle of our ankle. Okay, so once you're in this position, sit up tall, shoulders down away from your ears, belly muscles are tight. You can hold onto your chair, and we're going to slowly lift up, hold, and slowly down. I like to take about 3 seconds to slowly raise, and then 3 seconds to slowly lower. And slowly up, pause, and down. Up, pause, and down. Up, pause, down. We're halfway, we've got 5 more. One thing you'll notice about these exercises that we're doing is that they're very specific. They're targeted to just one muscle group. This exercise is only for my ankle dorsiflexors. My dog is coming in to say hello. You can see him just slightly. And this is a good thing. When you have MS, it's so important to specifically work individual muscle groups. Otherwise, the muscles that are already strong are going to overcompensate, and we don't want that to happen. One more, slowly up and down. We want to strengthen the weak muscles, not strengthen the muscles that are already strong and overcompensating. Shake everything out. We're just going to end with 2 stretches today. The first stretch is going to be a hamstring stretch. So go ahead and straighten one leg out completely. It doesn't matter a whole lot with what your ankle is doing, but the knee should be as straight as possible. Hands are stacked and go on the opposite lower thigh. Sit up tall. If you're really tight, you might already feel a stretch. If you don't, hinge forward. And this is a hamstring stretch. So you should feel this stretch anywhere from the back of the butt all the way to the back of the knee. Hold here. If your toes are further down towards the floor, you might also feel a stretch in the front of your lower leg. If your toes are higher up, you might feel a stretch in the back of your lower leg where your calf muscles are. Again, there's no right or wrong, just whatever feels good to you. This should feel really good, especially because we did that leg kick or that butt kick exercise today. Slowly come back up to a tall position. Slouch. So slouching should make the stretch almost fully go away. Don't use your hands as you bend that knee and bring it in. And then straighten the opposite leg. We'll do the same stretch. Hands down here. Sit up tall. And if you need to feel the stretch more, go ahead and hinge. Keep breathing. Remember, if you want to breathe more, if you don't want to hold your breath, that counting out loud, you can sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. You can say the ABCs. You can say what your plan for the day is out loud. I'll sometimes do that one, and I like getting super specific. Like, when I woke up this morning, I showered and the water was really hot. I almost burned myself, so I had to turn it down a little bit. And then I had to get out of the shower, and I used my blue towel today. Like, really intricate details, because it makes you breathe more. If you're talking too slow, you can still hold your breath. When you're ready, slowly back up, slouch to get rid of the stretch. Don't use your hands as you bring your leg in. One final stretch today to use our hip muscles is my favorite, the figure 4. Go ahead and grab your leg and place it on the opposite lower thigh. Once you're here, this leg should be dead weight, just hanging out on your leg. Sit up tall. Ooh. This is one of my tightest body parts, are my hips. So for me, I already feel a stretch right here. You might feel the stretch on the outer hip or the outer thigh. If you are more flexible than me, which that is likely, you can go ahead and hinge forward just like we did with the hamstring stretch. Remember, this leg is dead weight. The only acceptable place to feel it is the outside of your thigh or outside of your hip. And when you're ready, sit up tall and then slouch. So this should make the stretch almost fully go away. Slowly lower your leg with control and lift the opposite side up. You can use your hands. Once your foot is anchored on that lower leg, sit up tall And if you're more flexible than me, go ahead and hinge. I'm going to stay right here. One thing that I'll hear from some of my clients with this stretch is they'll feel it on the inside of their thigh or the back of their thigh, like their hamstrings. And what that means is that this leg is not fully dead weight, that it's still working to stay up on this thigh. Don't let that leg work. Your arms are keeping it here. And when you're ready, you can sit back up tall if you were hinging, round your back to let it go, and then slowly lower with control. Shake everything out. If there is another stretch you want to do, I always love a really great twist. That just feels so good. If you want to stretch your arms, your neck, whatever feels good to you and your body.